Street Journal report cites black box recordings and claims that the captain of the doomed Air India plane turned off the fuel flow to engines. The junior pilot reportedly panicked and asked the captain why he turned off the switches. Now, remember, the preliminary investigative report that was issued has not released the black box recordings. Neither has it identified which pilot said what in the cockpit. It has only put out one statement, not even a transcript, only a paraphrased statement of what transpired between two pilots without naming them or without saying who said what. Madiha is standing by now to explain the details. Madiha, take us through what the Wall Street Journal is claiming and the reactions that have come in since. And of course, the big question that we've been asking since the report was made public, why have the transcripts not been released?
That's the main question everyone in India is asking, Shireen. So this is the second time the Wall Street Journal has reported on the findings from the AIB investigation into the AI-171 crash based on what it picked from its sources. The first report had flagged the fuel control switches as the focus of the probe, and days later the AIB preliminary report confirmed the role of the fuel switches in cutting fuel supply and loss of thrust. But AIB did not say how the switches moved. It only revealed a single line from the cockpit recording. One pilot asked, "Why did you cut off?" and the other replied he didn't. This line itself was also rephrased and not the actual transcript. Which pilot said what was not clear. Did the pilots move them or did the switches move on their own? That was also not clear. Now, the latest WSJ report goes a step further. It claims Captain Sabrawal moved the fuel switches to cut off, shutting down both engines just seconds after taking off from Ahmedabad. The WSJ has cited sources who have heard the black box recording, saying the first officer panicked and asked the question while the captain stayed calm. Now, we know that the US National Transportation Safety Board, NTSB, was assisting the AIB because the Boeing 787 is made in America. And soon after the NTSB team left India, US media reports started surfacing. The AIB has not released the full cockpit transcript, and that has left pilot unions asking, could this have been a system failure that caused the switches to move? Pilot bodies like ALPA India, Indian Pilots Guild and the Federation of Indian Pilots are demanding transparency. FIP says it is humanly impossible to move both switches in 1 second. It says that malfunction of the full authority digital control, which is FADEC, FADEC, or incorrect power response should be ruled out before assuming a deliberate move by the pilot. Now, FADEC is what governs the thrust control, and pilots cannot override it except by shutting down the engine. If FADEC fails or misbehaves, the engine may not respond to throttle commands properly. Now, FIP is cautioning not to rush to blame the crew, especially when the wreckage shows that the switches were back in run position, possibly from an engine restart attempt by the pilots. So for now, the investigation continues, but this WSJ report has raised serious questions about who moved the switches.
Yes, that question continues to haunt us. Madiha, many thanks for joining us. The Karnataka government